Welcome to Film Bluffs, a place for free-range, non-GMO, dog water opinions. So come on in, take a seat, and let's make fun of the kid with no internet.
Music has faded in, apparently, what have you, what's gang, it's your boy, oh fuck, it's Jobe. And I'm flanked by Trace and Marshall, and today they're gonna...
The best part about it is Jobe has all fucking day to think of some kind of intro to do here. He knows that we're doing this every week, and it still catches him off guard.
He's like, oh wow, I got an intro.
I'm a lot like Ketchup. I'm better off the cuff, if you know what I'm saying.
I come better if you smack me on the ass hard enough.
So, what did we watch this
Listen,
week, Joe?
alright, everyone go to the comments and tell me if you thought this was a banger intro or not.
No. None of that. None of that.
Like mincemeat.
We watched Oldboy. It's a very interesting movie.
Known as Man.
All I knew of it before we watched the movie, and all that Jobe also knew before he said we should watch this movie, was that there was a fight scene that is in like a lot of martial arts pop culture been on, referenced in the hallway, yada yada, what have you. Jobe did not know how weird this movie is when you watch it, because I watched this movie and I'm going, there's no way Jobe knew what this movie was about. Because this doesn't seem like a movie Jobe would pick. Like, it would if he's just being silly, but the way he, like, wanted to watch this movie seemed it was completely serious.
I bet this was his favorite movie growing up. He learned how to speak Korean just for this film, so he didn't have to watch it with subtitles anymore.
It's true. I won't be attempting any Korean, though, because I'm worried some people might accuse me of being a little bit racist, but...
Might accuse you, but, like, doesn't mean you are, right? Wink. I thought it was... The movie's interesting, but, like, it's kind of good. It just takes a sec to, like, get going. The premise is fun and interesting. It's nothing, like, super weird. It's just, like...
Well...
The whole idea of what's happening doesn't seem too crazy, but like the pieces inside of those like major story beats, what's happening in those story beats is a little weird.
Bananas involved in this Sunday, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, you're just like, it's like the track you're on is like Mario Speedway or whatever from like Mario Kart, right? It's a figure eight, but there's like a shit ton of bananas everywhere, so it's throwing you for a loop. But you know the course, right? Hey, thanks everybody. That's on.
It's kind of like That Girl.
No, you see, like I've already hit the peak for similes.
Okay, well, not everyone plays Mario Kart. Maybe they don't.
Everyone knows
You needed a lot of people.
That is true. A lot of people I know have not played Mario. I knew someone in college, and we were supposed to like talk about something. It was like I don't know what it was, like an assignment or whatever. It's just like stand up and like talk for a minute on a subject. And this person next to me really didn't want to go, and I'm like, no, it's fine, you got it. And they're like, all right. And they stood up, and the topic was Mario Kart, and they've never played Mario Kart in their lives, and so they just panicked and froze and started crying. And I'm like, oh my god.
Is that when you started playing Mario Kart, so it never happened to you again, or?
No, it wasn't me. It was someone else. It was someone else.
Okay.
No, I swear.
Dude, I play Mario. I was out here double dashing before double dashers knew how to double dash.
The crazy thing is, Marshall, I had Miss Kim molest you until you thought you knew how to play Mario Kart. Anyway, hey Trace, you want to give your like brief introductory thoughts before I hop into the plot synopsis?
It's just, I feel like it should be worth noting that
Cool! Yes, Marshall.
I watched the movie before y'all two did, and then I sent them a meme of Mr. Peabody and Sherman. But is it Mr. Peabody doing the little hand wave hypnotize thing? And I'm like, you guys won't get this, but it's funny. And I think they enjoyed it. It was funny, right?
Actually, you know what? Before I get into the synopsis, I'm just going to throw a little spoiler warning. I'm not necessarily recommending this movie for everyone, but if you were interested in watching it and you're like, maybe I'll listen to these guys talk about it before I watch it, I'd recommend just going ahead and watching it because I truly believe this one will be better blind.
Yeah, there's a big couple twists in there that'll be
It
better.
is a twisty son of a bitch. That's
Even though we said it's weird and it's like in some places you're kind of confused, the twist is like it's pretty on the nose, but it's good if you don't like know about it before going into the movie. When I say on the nose, Trace, it's not like they're trying to hide what the twist is at the end. They tell you what it is.
No, I just mean like I wasn't necessarily confused at any point in the movie. It was just kind of parts where they went, "Here's
hey,
the
good
thing,"
job, buddy.
and I'm like, "Oh, ew."
So anyway, here I go. Fuck, I had Wikipedia open to the cast list because yes, this is a Korean movie, so the names are
Korea
foreign to a white man such as myself.
Wow, this is
The
incredibly
speller
awkward.
Dae-soo,
I'm just waiting.
he gets kidnapped and locked away for 15 years, and just before he breaks out, they let him out, and it's up to him to figure out just what the fuck happened. He starts tracking down the clues as best he can until he's picked up by the sushi chef Mido.
I would pronounce
Go
it
with
Mido
Mido.
personally.
I think it was Mido.
Mido, then. Mido. Anyway, he gets picked up by Mido, and they're hanging out, they're vibing, and he's like, wait, I ate a shit ton of dumplings. Let's just follow that lead. And he finds the guys what supply the dumplings, and he follows them to the place where he was held. And he's like, oh my God! And then they're like, fuck off and die. And so they send a bunch of people to kill him. He fights him off and makes his way out and about, but eventually he finds out that it was this dude Woo Jin, and Woo Jin is like, yes, I'm the one who imprisoned you, and then Dae-soo's like, I'll fucking kill you, and then Woo Jin is all like, but if you kill me, you won't know why I did it, and ain't you a little curious? And Dae-soo is like, fuck, he's right. So more detective marine, and eventually, to make a long story short, he finds out that they went to the same school briefly as youth, and Woo Jin had a sister who died, and he blames Dae-soo for it because Dae-soo saw them fucking one time. Which, twist number one, Woo Jin is all getting up in his sister's for bro China, and they were doing that shebang. And so, yeah, she was like, I'm tired of the rumors, and I'm pregnant, but not really. I'm gonna die now. And then she jumps off a bridge to Tom Petty's Learning to Fly, which is pretty funny. And then, during this final confrontation, Dae-soo's like, hey, you fucked your sister. And Woo Jin is like, yeah, well, you fucked your daughter. And then Dae-soo's like, no, I didn't. And then Woo Jin's like, you didn't know. Did, buddy. And Dae-soo thinks back on it, is like, oh god, oh no. And then he's freaking the fuck out. He's like, does Mido know that she's my daughter? And he's like, no, but I think I might tell her. And he's like, please don't tell her. I'll do anything. I'll do anything. You want me to suck your shoes? He sucks his shoes off. And eventually he just cuts his whole fucking tongue out. And Woo Jin's like, ha 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 ha, funny. And he starts to leave, and Dae-soo like presses kill Woo Jin button, but the press to kill Woo Jin button actually is just press to play recording of you fucking your daughter, you sick freak. And then Woo Jin takes him down an elevator, and he's like, oh yeah, my sister's dead, and he shoots him stuff in the head. And then Again, Daesu finds the woman who hypnotized him to fuck his daughter, and he's like, "Yo, I need you to hypnotize that shit out of my brain." And she's like, "Okay, I'll try." And then they try, and then Midu is like, "Oh, Daesu, I'm so clueless about everything. I love you." And then Daesu starts to laugh, but then it turns into a grimace, and that's the movie. Let me tell you something, like, dear listener, if you sat through that and you haven't seen the movie yet, sorry for fucking that up for you, but to be fair, I warned you. But second of all, most of that synopsis happens in, like, the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, it's a lot, like, the middle chunks of it are Homeboy going, "Man, I gotta figure something out," and then it's a whole bunch of him trying to figure something out and then being kind of told what to look for and then being like, "Huh, who would have thunk it?" The first, like, what is it, like 25, 30 minutes are him, like, in this, like, being kidnapped. Yeah. It starts with him being a piece of shit in a, like, police station, being drunk, and then he gets kidnapped, and then he's like, I suck at this, and he's, like, all kidnapped and stuff, and then he, like, goes to break out and then gets released as soon as he's, like, let out. I like it. I think it's fun and how, like, the villain plays to, like, hey, this guy, even though he wants revenge, he wants to know why I did it, because at this point he knows nothing, and he's orchestrated so many events in this situation that, like, this guy has to have some huge master plan or something like that. That's what I really like about it. You know, it's just kind of fun for me that way. The fight scenes were kind of fun. Trace has an opinion on the most notable one, where...
Wait. I just wanted to say, I had pre-planned another... I will pre-enact the argument I will have with Trace regarding that fight scene.
The fight scene in question
I do.
Is... Daesu goes back to, like, where he was taken, and then he, like, beats up the... No, he doesn't beat up, he just takes the teeth out of the guy that, like, held him there, essentially.
He probably beat him a little bit.
Not really, I mean, he just took his teeth out.
Probably, like, a little off screen where he's like, "You did this, you little..."
Yeah, he smacked him around a little bit.
Sure.
But it's a side shot from, like, the side of the hallway, and it just, like, tracks him all the way down and up the hallway.
That part's really cool. I do like the shot,
and it's one
take. I like, or not one take, but one shot. I don't know if it was one take.
I mean, it was also all one take.
Well, I've heard arguments of people differing the terminology for it, because the one take implies that they did it the first time and didn't have to redo it at all. But
what do you believe in, Trace?
I like one shot. But I do think that's.
I'll use them interchangeably.
That's fair. Internet people.
I would just say one take, because it's like, you know, the guy had to do the whole scene right all the way through, whereas with other scenes where there are a lot of cuts, you know, you only need to get one section right at a time.
Yeah.
No, it was, like, it's pretty impressive. But I think for the most of the movie, the big strength is in the characters. Like I said earlier, the main plot of what's going on is this guy's kidnapped and he wants revenge. You've seen it done before. Like, it's not super, like, something happens, he wants revenge. It happens a lot. I've even seen Trace, he's gotten revenge on multiple people in his life. Everyone, actually, that's ever wronged him. Unless there's someone that has gotten away and Trace is just, like, planning something.
It's the one who took my third toe on my left foot. I'm still looking.
I just want to make a quick disclaimer, though. Trace, I don't think, has fucked his daughter.
No, that part I'm not big on. I don't think I'll be doing that.
You'll get hypnotized someday.
No,
it'll happen.
No, hypnotizing doesn't really work on me. I've had it.
It doesn't work on anybody. It's fucking bullshit, dog.
Well, all right, well, we're gonna have a hypnotist watch this, and then they're gonna call us and hypnotize you for real.
See, I watched this movie and I kept thinking half the time that, you know, this character reminds me of someone, And then as soon as I see this guy like punching the wall, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could see Trace doing that if he's kidnapped. Like he'd have this little existential crisis bit, and then he starts punching the wall. Like, oh yeah, that's Trace.
For if they were playing like Linkin Park or some shit.
Dude, I would in my head it'd be good. Listen to Linkin.
Only when it's on the TV, like during like a commercial or something for like 10 seconds. All right, now I'm not gonna do anything till tomorrow.
Do you do like you watch TV and that's great, but other than that, I'd probably start a workout routine because I'm like,
see,
else to do, and I'm gonna get out of here someday.
Like that's what I kept thinking. I'm like, Trace is gonna sit there. He's gonna learn as much as he can from the TV. He's gonna get jacked, and he's gonna try to escape. And then Trace will be upset when he actually like gets out, but doesn't actually manage to escape on his own. I could see that one.
But mine would be kind of fun, where I'm like watching the martial arts on TV. So I'm learning martial arts, but then it's not martial arts all the time. So when I'm watching Dancing with the Stars, I'm also picking up some cool dance moves.
And then Trace would immediately go and be like, I need to try out my martial arts on some no good thugs.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, the first thing Trace would do after he got out would probably be get a haircut, because he's like, no, it's too long.
Well, they cut his hair for him, and also I don't know if my hair is like super long. I've just had it like out to here, like almost touching my like the bottom of my neck, and it curls, and I don't like it.
See, his hair didn't really touch the bottom of his neck. It just went straight out. He had the Albert Einstein. It just was poofy.
It just goes up.
I actually really like that hairstyle. I wish my
I know.
Instead of I thought you might.
Being little shits
if
on
there's
my
one
head.
thing Jobe wishes he could do other than fuck his daughter, it's have his hair go straight up. Yeah, your hairline's getting rough.
The other thing that
up, Clyde.
really was like, oh yeah, I could see Trace doing this, was like, oh, they fed me the same dumplings from the same restaurant. I have to go try all the dumpling places, and I'll know which one it is. And I want to argue that even if you had the same thing for 15 years, you would not be able to tell the difference if you went to a place.
I would not be confident in that at all. I do know somebody who can do that shit, though. I know a guy who can actually like eat something, and he will tell you all the ingredients that he tastes in it.
Well, it doesn't need the ingredients. He needs to know who made it.
No, but I'm just saying, like, he has that kind of weird palate where he can taste the difference in how it's.
This isn't him. This is about you, Trace, and how you.
Saying.
I think it's incredible that, after 15 years, like, it's the same fried dumpling. Like, I figure at some point the recipe's got to get shook up a little bit.
Not if they hire a really young chef and he stays with the company because they treat him really well.
Yeah, but even then he'll probably tweak the recipe a little bit.
I mean, unless
interest.
The only thing I can think of is if like they're in like cahoots, so they don't really like want the restaurant to be like super good or like change it too much. It's just kind of like a front. Because that's what it seemed like to me, because when he pressed the 7 to 8, so it was the 7.5 floor where everything was stored. So it's just kind of like, it's a front. So it's just like,
I think he was just doing that to be like, hey, bro, are you following me?
No, that's why, because he tries that at the end, because he thinks it's like, in the middle.
To my brain. It is funny that I could see Trace doing that, like, honestly thinking he's so clever pressing both buttons. And
honestly, I'll be honest, for a second I went, now he's got it. He hits both. It doesn't do it. Oh. Well, shit. And then the guy comes in, he's like, 0604. And I went, that's what I'm going to try next. Ugh.
This is so Trace. How did it feel watching the movie that there's so many similarities between you and this guy?
I'd like to still point out that I'm not gonna fuck my daughter, but
no,
yet,
no, not happening.
That's probably what Daisu was saying for 15 years. He woke up every morning like, I probably wouldn't fuck my daughter.
Well, I'm stuck in prison for 15 years, but at least I'm not fucking.
See,
my daughter,
I want
right?
Jobe. I don't know if Jobe mentioned this
you
too.
Want Jobe?
Clearly, but what happened was the main villain hypnotized both Daisu and his daughter to go to certain places and meet up.
The main villain didn't do it, but
he had someone do it, whatever, and have interactions so that they would eventually like meet each other. And he'd hope that they fell in love, because apparently you can't hypnotize that. But there's so many steps for this to happen. Even Daisu was like, hey, this is really weird that this one girl decided just to like bring me back to her house and take care of me. He assumes that she's like a bad person and in on the whole thing. But she is, but she's not. And I think that's what's like really clever about it, is she's not
she's an unwitting
accomplice to everything,
Yeah.
but like that's what I think is pretty like interesting about it. Even though like hypnotism and some stuff is kind of like hand wavy a lot of the times, like oh he was hypnotized, but like in this one it's kind of like it was a hypnotic suggestion. So it's like even though you were awake in your own person, you did certain things still. It wasn't just your whole will was gone. It was just leading actions to what actually happened, you know?
Well, I feel like you could be... See, where I thought it was going at first, I thought it was, like, breaking him down mentally so much that that's why he was so susceptible to hypnosis. But then they're like, ha ha ha, it's a good thing your entire family is really susceptible to hypnosis for some reason. That was lucky on our part. Because now, as we've well established, and I really want to drive the point home, you fucked your daughter? Icky.
Dude, I know. And like everything that the villain says, there's just like another layer to it, like once you actually like find the whole reveal.
He's
like at the beginning, he gets like the voicemail or whatever recording of the call of why he wants this Daesu to be in jail, and he's like, oh, he talks too much, and you're like, okay, that's like a stupid reason, like that's really petty. And then you realize it's Daesu started the rumor because he told everybody, and so that's what spread and led his sister to die or whatever. And so it's like, what's up?
Is it I think gossip is the more accurate term.
Gossip.
A rumor is like unconfirmed
Well,
information.
it was gossip, and then like it evolved
then
into
it became a rumor.
Yeah.
Really,
she's preggers.
What was his fucking name? Juhwan.
The part of that was really weird because like the way he phrased it made it seem like confirmed pregnant, because he's like, I didn't get her pregnant, your tongue got her pregnant. And I was like, that's not
Well, on the Wikipedia page it says like it's a false pregnancy, which is like but like
when that happens.
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Dear women, please let us know.
Joke's on you if women listen to this shit.
Nobody listens to this shit, dog.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, if it was just the words that he started, it's pretty much by the transitive, his tongue that started this whole nonsense.
I do like it though, because then that's when it clicks for him and he cuts off his tongue, because this is the thing that started it all, and he's offering it up as if, hey, I'll never do this shit again because I don't got a tongue no more. And he's like, all right, you got me. Let's go.
I did love Woojin, literally, like, while Daesu was freaking the fuck out, just sitting there laughing his ass off. I'm like, yeah, he got his ass.
Like, okay, for me, the reveal that like Mito was his daughter was like kind of insane, because like before he says it, there's like the glimpse of like, oh, this is a present that he bought his daughter way back when, right before he was kidnapped, and she has it with her, and you're like, oh fuck, no! I'm like literally like cringing the whole time, like no.
Which like
because
also, I just remembered, fucking, he tries to take the moral high ground, and he's all like, yeah, me and my sister, we knew we were siblings, and it was fucked up, and we still loved each other.
And I still
Can you still be in love with your daughter?
I think there's also the double layer of he unknowingly had sex with his daughter, but earlier he did try to forcibly have sex with his daughter, so, like, which is even a little more icky.
But also, what all did they hypnotize out of Mito though? Because like,
well, I mean, if you think about it, I'm assuming she was young, so she probably didn't like know what he looked like for since she hasn't seen him for 15 years.
Right.
Plus, I'm gonna assume Daesu is not like a super common name, or they just hypnotized his name out of her mind, because her name is Mito, which isn't the same like last name since she was like adopted, so none of it was like matching up for them.
No, but like they would have had to do it they would have had to do a lot in some capacity, because like, yeah, she knows his name, and that never clicks for her. But she was old enough to talk to him on the phone. I assume she was like around 4 or 5 years old.
That's why
3. So like,
I want to say 3 because that's why they kept him in
that makes sense.
Captivity for 15 years specifically.
Yeah, but like at the same time,
if you're gonna hypnotize someone into fucking their daughter, you don't want to.
Her mom is killed, and that's a huge news story. So they would have had to like somehow hypnotize it out of her that
I mean, unless she was young. I mean, she was maybe like, unless she was 3 or 4. No, because he had been gone for a year, so she would have been 4, and then she gets adopted, and they just don't talk about it for 14 years. Like, it could be possible that she just completely forgot.
It's not a stretch, I imagine, for some Swedish families to be like, no, we won't tell you about your terrible fucking parents.
Who's my mom? Oh, she's dead. No one's fault. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry, your pretty little head.
Dad killed
No. Yeah,
No, your dad's dead.
Your dad's dead.
God damn it.
Your mom's dead. Which also, I get it. I guess I get that it's probably like another layer onto, hey, go fuck yourself, man, because I'm mad at you. We killed your wife and made it look like you did it. Plus, it is like kind of the perfect, red herring of getting them off their back. But they seem like people who could get away with just about anything.
I mean,
So they get away with a lot
right,
of doing shit to them.
So, like, having it be like, he killed his own wife, that's fucked up. That seems like it's just an extra, like, you know what, we should pin it on someone, right? Who? We got his blood. Might as well pin it on him.
You know what's funny? The more I think about it, the more I'm like Trace, I feel like if you like exist in a world and you knew you had just been hypnotized, I think it would make sense for you to be like, yeah, I'll just go get myself re-hypnotized, right?
Well, that's the thing. If it works, then yeah, why not just do it again?
See, now imagine, Trace, you just found out that you had sex with your daughter and you knew you were very susceptible to hypnotism. Would you go get hypnotized to remove that from your mind?
Here's the thing. The way he goes about it, I don't love it. If that happens, well, that's a big point of it too. I hate the cold. If that were to ever happen, big if, it wouldn't be hey, can you erase the memory of Mito being my daughter? No, it would be can you take the memory of me fucking my daughter away from me? That'd be
I think that's too much, Trace, because then you'd have to remove the memory from Mito of him having sex with her. That's a double. And she doesn't know Mito's that.
You don't have to do that.
He would still have that attraction to her and be aware that
you don't have to take Mito's memory away, though, because she doesn't know about it, and you can just fucking leave. You left your life once, you can do it again. I'm out. Either that, or I remove my brain forcefully with a bullet. Because
okay, dude,
through all that shit. Damn.
I mean,
but Wujin just like fucking capping himself in the head in the elevator, just fucking obliterating himself.
That was the bit that made me like sit up on my couch and go, "What the fuck is happening?"
I think.
Well, because I'm assuming it was the guilt from he couldn't hold his sister up, or that like he also contributed to the process.
I think it's kind of cool because like he says earlier that when he's talking to Desu about vengeance, and he's like, yeah, you need that vengeance to keep you going. It's when it's the only thing you have left.
Yeah, now that he's
done. What you do after you get that, like he sets it up early on in the movie that for a sicko like him, vengeance is the only thing, and once you got it, what's left? Nothing.
I think the part that gets me the most is that in the beginning we see him call his daughter Sweet Pea. And they're like, that's adorable. And then we get to the point where he fucks his daughter. And then he later knows that he fucks his daughter. And then he's on the phone with his post-fucked daughter and calls her Sweet Pea again. And I went, ew, I don't like this anymore, because now he's fully acknowledging this is his little girl. Like, he's kind of seeing her as his little girl, and he's still gonna fuck her later.
No, we don't know that.
Something I like is that
he's gonna do that.
Even though Wujin is like kind of set up as like this guy kind of knows everything, has this huge plot in place, Desu does like have some little small wins here and there. It feels like to me of like getting information or just actions that he takes to get one over. Like he finds the hidden bugs on him so that like he can't get tracked anymore, which leads to Wujin end up killing the other guy, Jawo, his friend or whatever,
Yeah,
like it's not just all like Desu like dancing in the palm of this guy's hand. He's doing some things.
Yeah, He's taking little bits of control back.
My favorite like 2 quotes are when Daesu first fights that thug group, and he's like, "Oh yeah, martial arts stuff that he sees on TV translates over," and then he goes to try to fuck his like daughter forcibly. He's like, "Okay, everything that you see on TV does not translate over."
He does a thing in his little narrative voiceover that, while I like that part of it, I don't like how it's phrased. And it could be a direct translation thing that they tried to do to English, but I've heard it in other iterations of like just American voiceovers where it's like, does the martial arts that I see on TV translate over to the real world? And then we have a beat of him like fighting people for a little bit, and then it just stops suddenly, and then he goes, "It does." Well, yeah, and we just saw that it does. It's fine.
Dude, it's kick ass. I know what you're talking about.
It's just a weird. I think it's weird to like. Tell me something I just watched. I want to know what I just watched. Tell me exactly how that worked. I know that it worked, but now you need to tell me because I'm fucking stupid and I can't process what I watched in front of me.
See, the one thing that really
lose his mind if he had to watch TV for 15 years.
That's what like one of the first other things that was like, hey, this guy's kind of like Trace, was like, he sees this guy trying to commit suicide. He's like, let me tell you my story really quick, and then I don't care what you do. Kill yourself. I don't give a shit. He's like, don't try to stop me. No. I'm going to tell you what's happened in my life so far, and then I'm going to fuck off. You can do what you want.
Dude, the fucking, so that's my story. Okay, now I'll tell you mine. Ugh, no, I'm sorry, I don't do feelings.
That is a very Trace-esque move.
I
think another thing, too, that made me think, like, I could see Trace doing that, is getting the octopus and just sucking it down.
Dude, no, I would hate that. That would suck.
No, because here's the thing.
It's 15 years of you eating dumplings.
Pretty girl.
That's true. Okay, well, all right. Time out. Let's preface this really quick. Yes,
in this scenario, it's not your daughter.
Yes, I would absolutely eat a live octopus
to impress your daughter.
To impress a pretty girl who is not my daughter.
She is though.
No.
Would you comment on her and be like, "Hey, this is you. I saw you on TV. Would you have that bad if her is? I've seen you. I don't know, Jobe. You go out with Trace to the bars. Does he have?
I don't talk to girls.
We don't talk to girls because.
I mean, he really did it. He just talked at the world. It seemed like, he said, I know you. You're a sushi chef.
Between the two of us, I think Jobe's talked to more girls at a bar than I have.
I don't think. I've had girls talk to me that I've
the bartender.
Jobe danced with a girl this last weekend.
I didn't dance with a girl. She danced on me.
Yeah, she did.
I was merely an accomplice. I was just following orders.
What do we think of the white haired guy that just kept flipping Daesu at the end? There was just a ton of Daesu running it. He would just fly through the air afterwards.
Although I do love that Woojin is like, he's so like, this revenge is happening on my terms, that when his bodyguard is choking Daesu out, he's like, "Hey, stop it!" But he can't hear him because he just been deafened. So he's like, "Fuck!" Bang! And shoots his own bodyguard in the head.
Dude, I love when he's like, my guards kick his ass, and then his guards die, and he's like, "All right, we can talk about this a little, but first, let me get completely naked in my shower that's like in the middle of my living room."
Honestly, such a power move.
Yeah.
But we never talked about it. We need to talk about it. Trace, what did you think of the hallway fight scene? That
wait. No. Let me.
Jobe needs a preemptive strike, or he's afraid he'll lose.
That's a Bloons Tower Defense 6 thing. I think with the submarine monkey.
I'm gonna preface this with, and
you. It's
had this fight scene hyped up. And it is cool, but it isn't the greatest thing ever. Now, here's the argument me and Trace are going to have. I go, yeah, this fight scene's pretty cool. And then Trace says, no, it's stupid. There's 15 guys, but only like 2 attack at the same time at most.
That is not the problem I have with it. Because it's a small hallway.
Trace is going to have the argument. No, wait, my turn. Okay. Trace is going to have the argument that when he's on the ground, they don't kick him hard enough, and he thinks that he could have knocked him out with 1 kick to the head. Or a few.
Because I understand why they don't just fucking dogpile him.
Okay. Now,
Okay, back to Jobe.
I kind of like this. This is fun for me.
Trace's
One of you
problem
might get it.
with Trace's problem with the fight scene is that in general nobody's exhibiting any skilled martial arts technique.
No. Trace's issue is that he gets stabbed and still gets up and doesn't take the knife. No, that's a bad argument.
No.
Trace's issue is that he doesn't use the hammer and just starts smacking everybody on the head.
Trace's issue is that he really sees a lot of himself in Daesu.
No,
and
that's not it.
He'd get beat up.
I kept thinking that
it was similar.
when Daisy's just sitting there over that guy, just holding the hammer straight up, it just gave me such Trace vibes. Just like I'm gonna hit you.
I do like that where he's like, whook, and then there's a little dots going, ding, 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 ding.
Dog.
It felt almost like Scott Pilgrim for a
It
little
did.
bit there.
Just like the dashed lines going this is where the hammer's gonna go, and I'm like,
I love how it was like he held it there for so long. What was the point? Nothing was said. He just held it there.
It was just like the guy turns around and goes, "Oh fuck!" And then Daisy was like, "Ah fuck, he saw me. Well, what do I do now?" My element is.
Well, I also think that's not the first guy he's like killed.
Hadn't killed anybody yet.
No, because he didn't kill them thugs in the park.
Beat the shit out of him.
Trace.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about this hallway fight scene, but really quick. The scene where he like pulls guys' teeth out with the hammer, I feel like you wouldn't be able to get enough leverage, but then he started like twisting, and I'm like, okay, he's like popping them out. He's not really just like pulling them out.
So what he did was he kind of just like threw it like a lasso almost and pulled it out by the root. But the other two, he just kind of yanked straight out, and that's why.
And that's all broken.
Fucking Daejeon sucks.
Dude, Trace, this is why Trace likes this movie better, is because he's not Dane DeHaan. He's no way similar to Dane DeHaan, but Daesu, there's some similarity. I've seen Trace do the same exact.
Daesu just gives Trace vibes.
Like when he was drunk and just like was like hanging out in the police station, it just. Such Trace vibes. Okay. Right? He's gonna be a little rambunctious. Okay, and then he has those two big dudes sit next to him. He's gonna be.
When I saw the first scene of him being drunk at the police station, my first thought was, "That's Jobe."
You bastard! How'd I know?
Because you're drunk and disorderly all the time, and belligerent.
I am not. I am none of these things. Now, Trace, pray tell, what was your fucking damage with this fight scene?
So I really feel like the claw hammer, like the claw's it's really thin for a hammer. I don't know if that's just
that's it.
Over there. No, that's not in the hallway. Scene.
What? You can't.
This is
be surprised.
This is the tooth
that
part.
We're confused by what the fuck.
I'm like,
all right.
Like, nope. I can get behind where he like kind of gets in there and he twists it a little bit and then pulls. I can get behind.
That's not the fight. That's not the hallway.
The way he does.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about the hallway fight scene.
Pull it out like a nail, and that's the part that gets me. So
somebody stop him! He's losing his mind.
So you guys wanted to talk about the fight scene?
Yes.
In the hallway. With
that's
the
one.
Let's go. That's a clue for you. So my whole thing is the choreography just kind of sucks. Like it's got that issue for me of that like. Okay, so it's got the issue for me like some of the older fight like action movies, they have the very obvious like they punch and then like a second and then the guy takes the hit and it looks very he obviously didn't hit him. The choreography is just not very good, and half the time they got these long ass sticks and they just smash them against the wall instead of actually hitting anybody. So it's just kind of a thing of like, this isn't, I mean, yeah, it's cool, it's in one shot. It's not that
Trace,
it's that great.
It's make believe. It's a fucking it's a movie. Yeah, they're not gonna actually try to kill him.
Right, but in other movies you can fucking see people they're not actually beating the shit out of each other, but it looks realistic.
I mean, some of us aren't watching the world.
You're telling me they didn't have better choreography set up?
Like, sorry that I don't watch the world on slow-mo, Trace. I watch the world in real time. I meet the movie at its level and say, hey, they're fighting.
Marshall's just mad because he couldn't figure out what my argument was going to be because he's too simple-minded.
Well, I figured that you would have met the movie at its level, and
No, and
there
that's- and
Trace
that's why
is
I-
going.
and that's why I didn't
I didn't actually see that connect. If you pause, there's a frame of him just pulling the punch the last
You
second.
don't have to do it by the frame, because there's like a fucking foot of the fist going by and his head just going, it hit me.
Well, how do you know that's not a dodge?
It wasn't.
How do you know?
Because it's
Are
a
you
punch,
him?
and then him going, fuck, I missed my cue.
So
Nah,
it
he
sounds like
dodged.
Marshall and Trace are gonna have to practice choreography on each other right now. So we're gonna take a quick
I like
Capri
that,
Sun
actually.
break, and when we come back, we'll see who truly is the master martial artist.
Welcome back, Jabronocrons, from that Capri Sun break.
And welcome back, Jabrona.
And welcome back, Jabronocrons, from that Capri Sun break
Praise
for...
God.
Welcome back. How's it going, guys? We're back from my Capri Sun break, and we're here to talk more about this movie about how I'm
When
not
do we do
gonna
our, like,
fuck my daughter.
YouTuber apology where we tilt the camera really quick and be like, hey guys, I got something to tell you. I did not drink a Capri Sun on this Capri
Bad news,
Sun break.
guys. Trace did
No,
fuck his daughter.
no, hey, yo.
But, like, I could see Trace, like I said, I'm watching this movie, and I'm just like picturing Trace half the time because he's sitting there, he's punching the wall, he's trying to escape, he's thinking about, hey, look at this fucker next door that only got one chopstick and I got three. What a piece of shit, am I right? He's like, oh, I gotta give myself a tattoo so I know how many years I've been in here, because that's what people do when they're kidnapped. They get sick tattoos.
The funny part is that he's making it seem like he's like got this cool prison break thing going on because like, ooh, I'm hiding it so well. They don't even know there's a hole in the wall behind my bed. And then we find out later he's just been under surveillance this whole time, and they can see everything he's doing.
I love how
Watch
he
him jerk off.
he didn't finish. I like how there's like he gets through one wall and then he gets to the other wall and he's like, I wonder if I'm like super high up. And then you find out later he's on like the 7.5 floor.
Yeah.
So if he falls, he's not gonna die probably, but he's just gonna break a few bones.
He probably could have.
Depends how he falls.
Yeah,
He could have gotten out of there.
I think he.
Like
Dude,
he
ain't
could
that a
have,
bitch though.
right? Like you were gonna leave, like you were close
Yeah,
enough to
you-
escape, and then
I leave in 1 month. In 1 month, I break free. Wake up the next morning outside.
Huh.
Man.
no, in a suitcase outside.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and you're just like, man, I fucked up.
Well, at least the
then
next
you
guy
see
got
a-
pretty easy now.
Dude, I don't know, he was kind of a freak though.
They changed
That's
buildings,
that.
remember?
That quick shot where he's like in an elevator with a lady and he's just like all pressed up against the side. He's like a human woman.
No.
I've seen Trace do that exact same thing.
It's because I don't want to bother them.
Dude, if Trace like the fish thing where he like says the like scientific name of the fish and then goes on about it. If Trace knew the scientific name of the fish and a lot about it, you know he'd be sitting there telling you about that one fish.
I wish I knew more about. And fish just don't interest me that much.
Fish. Well, you haven't met a cool fish, huh?
That's true. That's true.
What are
Well,
you?
this is a duck.
Straight fish?
But there's also
It's an
there's like something. Oh God, what's the movie? There's another movie. It's that's a little bit
Shark
older.
Tale.
Almost. So these two
Oldboy.
guys are like grown up outside of society, and then one of the first
B
things
movie.
they do is they go to a park in a car, and they go, "Hey, little girl, do you want to go? We're gonna go get some ice cream. Do you want to come with us?" And then eventually the cops come up. They're like, "What do you think you're doing?" They're like, "Well, we're trying to get this little girl in our car, but the mom's being a real pain in the ass about it. We just want to go get some ice cream," and they're being genuine. They just did not grow up in
Is
society.
it Cars?
Trace, I think that was
That's
a
it.
dream you had
No,
one
it's
time.
an actual.
No, he said it was Cars.
No, it's not a movie. I just don't remember what it is.
What did y'all think about like where he goes back to his school and like retraces his steps and seeing that like he kind of caused this?
I fucked my daughter.
Well, I feel like, yeah, Trace is the kind of guy who would see his classmates
hated
make
it.
his sister.
I hated my high school.
And then tell everybody about it.
Well, fucking Desu clearly hated his high school. That's why he's like, fuck off, I go to Seoul tomorrow, fuck you.
I'm going somewhere else. I'm leaving.
Yeah, Trace wouldn't smoke a cigarette though. That's a difference they
I
had.
will get lung cancer immediately.
No, but see,
Trace is very
all the stuff
susceptible.
went up out of his lungs.
I know.
And then he doesn't talk to a girl that's in front of him. He just tries to look cool by doing like parallel bar things, and then fucking biffs it.
Okay, I won't lie. When I was younger, like elementary school, that would have been my thought process. Like
He would like watch this.
I can do the monkey bars, and then like on the fourth one, I'd eat shit, fall in the wood chips, and go, fuck. She wasn't watching, was she?
I can see Trace doing it. Like Trace, you and this main character really have a lot in common.
I don't know. I'm not Korean.
Trace, say something in Korean. Say you're gonna fuck your daughter.
I'm not gonna do that because I won't.
Say you're gonna kill President.
I also don't know any. I don't know Korean.
Say dumpling.
Dumpling.
He thought about it. He thought about trying the accent on.
I would never. That's incredibly offensive.
You know who else would be worried about being incredibly offensive? I think Daesu.
No, he wouldn't. He would not be worried about. He tried to rape his daughter. He's not worried about.
No, she was his daughter at the time.
No, Jobe, shut the fuck up for a second. Marshall, do you want to finish that thought?
No.
Wait.
There was a very obvious start of Marshall going.
It's not the same kind of offensive.
But you know, like
It's not
he stops
offensive
himself
like that.
He stops himself and like he calls himself trash and that he says he should die, and that's
kicks him and he goes, ow. He would have kept
why
going.
didn't you just cut his
See, Trace knows how to write, so he would write down his thoughts and his feelings like in a journal for 15 years. If he's got nothing else besides a TV.
I would label it as my manifesto, but yeah.
See, a manifesto needs to have a point. Yours wouldn't have a point.
It'd just be the ramblings of a white boy.
Today I watched TV.
Now that's a title.
Dancing with the Stars had Clay Aiken.
We're gonna title this episode "Trace kissed his sister on the mouth" or something like that.
Trace kissed his sister on the brogina.
That's gross. I hate all of this so dearly much.
But Trace,
No, you're not Woojin. You're a total Daesu, dude.
Nope.
I could see Trace getting like flipped though by a little dude with white hair.
That guy kicks ass.
Just getting tossed around.
His hair.
I've never. Well, I
can see Trace's dad. Like Trace runs at his dad to yell at him for not making enough Keebler cookies that day, and then Trace's dad just like fucking flips him off into the corner, and then Trace smashes into like the 14 different.
I don't know if that's gonna make any sense.
No, that part was great. He just kept getting flipped into like the same table in different parts of the room.
He's like, oh, my other glass thing that's there.
Come on, not my fish tank. Psh, not my other fish tank. My fish tank.
I really need a henchman whose main form of attack isn't throwing my enemies into my shit.
Either that, or I gotta stop having glass furniture.
No, but also
throwing them into the glass, you weirdo, and throw them into the concrete pillar.
Like I said, right before that, where he fights those two henchmen off really quick, the two grunt henchmen. Yeah. I really have this thing in a lot of action movies. You can tell they have this whole thing where it's like fight, where like the main character, if he's competent, if he's like been shown as a competent character, he'll just beat up a bunch of random dudes. But then there'll be like one guy who steps out, and then they have a longer fight, and then he beats that guy in a good moment. Mm-hmm. It's like the Indiana Jones or like the John Wick. They'll just fight, extended fight with one guy and keep going. The two guys beforehand were the fight part. But you see, Daesu, like, I want to assume what Trace would do in this situation is, did he break off something? I forgot. Was it a pen or something that he had in this? A toothbrush. Trace would have been like, I don't have a weapon. Let me grab a tooth. He would have first asked the mobster for like a gun, and he'd been like, no, fuck you, dude. And then he would be like, I'm gonna grab the toothbrush because that I could break it off and it'd be sharp, and Trace would like sharpen it on the ground beforehand too, and then fucking stab him in the neck. I can see Trace doing that.
Yeah,
I would look for an unconventional weapon, I think.
Right, he'd see the like interact button by the toothbrush. It was like, I can make a weapon with this.
Circle.
I would get a makeshift unconventional weapon. However, I wouldn't fuck my daughter. So there's that.
Trace,
but
it seems like you're really on this whole fuck your
It's
daughter
because I
thing.
know. It's because I know it's what you're leading up to. See,
It's
you
starting
can't
to
figure
feel
out what my
a little
arguments are.
defensive.
You can't figure out what argument I'm gonna make, but I know what you're thinking, and you're thinking you're gonna this whole episode is trying to hypnotize me into fucking my daughter, and I'm not gonna do it.
You know what? I will.
So what you're saying is,
fine.
you and Daisy were like the same person, as
Nah.
long as you don't fuck your daughter.
Yes.
Okay, listen, Trace. All we're gonna say
My
is
son,
obviously we. Oh, fun. Obviously, we know you would never fuck your daughter, but we're just saying that, yeah, like, if somebody asked me, was like, how would you describe Trace? I'd be like, okay, have you seen the movie Oldboy? Minus the Korean part and the daughter fucking part, he's basically Daesu.
Yeah, my wife would be killed, and I'd get blamed for it.
Just your luck.
That would be. I'd be like,
But I mean, we really haven't seen how you do between 15 years of isolation and being hypnotized after those 15 years. We have your accounts of being hypnotized, but not the 15 years of isolation. I think that's going to change your mental.
I see. I don't
Well,
know.
I think
I feel like
also it's like-
I've got that issue of like people are like, oh yeah, I could definitely do 15 years of isolation. I won't be too bad.
Nah, I couldn't do it in one
I know
room.
you couldn't. You're a social butterfly.
I'm getting out of there in a week.
Okay.
Let me tell you how I do it.
How do you-
Simple. I'm out. Boom.
They do have they have like a painting of like a window though there on one of the
Yeah.
sets room. It was painted really well because for a moment it's a quick like pan over and I went, is that a window? Did he not just climb out?
5 years in, Trace realizes it's just a painting of a window or whatever,
That's
painting of the outside.
Years he thinks to try it.
And that's the moment where he's like, I can't do this anymore.
I'm gonna climb out this window. Ow.
Yeah. No, but like, here's how I get out.
Okay.
They come in, they grab the stuff. I'm faking, right? I've built up an immunity after 4 days there to the nerve gas or whatever.
Right.
I'm very good at building up immunity.
They didn't
with the
nerf
worms.
every day.
Well, it seemed like they did it every night.
Not every night. It was just like
No.
when you needed to.
Nah.
They needed to go in there. I
Yeah,
thought.
like when they.
Yeah,
needed to
well,
prepare.
after the 4th time they've done it, right, they're going to come in there, boom, I'm up. They're not expecting it, right? Boom, fist right to the forehead. He's reeling back. He's going, what? This guy's awake? And that moment, boom, I'm taking the whole bed. I'm sliding across the room. They're going to go, what? They're tripping. I'm out the door, right? Down the stairs, out. Boom, I'm gone.
The forehead's got to be kind of the worst
Right.
place to punch someone, though, right? That's probably where.
Now he's gonna reel back because he's gonna see the fist coming. Go boom. He's gonna go he's gonna go back, and that's when the bed slides up on his
basketball shot.
boom.
all martial arts is just basketball.
Right? You hit it in the forehead. He's going and then he's not expecting to feel a bed against his knees. He goes poof. He's down. Now, if there's a second guy in there, problem gets a little more, interesting, right? So the bed's thrown against the first guy. He tumbles over, right? At this point, I've got one chopstick in one hand. I'm holding the chair in the other. Throw the chair at the second guy. Quickly stab someone in the fucking face. Whoever is the closest to me. Probably the guy on the bed has been knocked over, right? He's at this point. Pull out the chopstick. Hopefully the eye comes with it. I intimidate. I pass the intimidation check. He goes, whoa, I don't want to deal with it. Throw the chair again at the guy. Out the door. Down the stairs. I'm out of here. It's easy.
Marshall's recounting of this to me has a very Spaceballs narrative to it because I love the idea that he's shoved this other guy with the bed. He's fallen over. I'm throwing the chair at the other guy and I'm stabbing someone. He just turns around and like stabs the lighting guy. Yuck! Oh shit!
Yeah, that's what Marshall would do. But Trace, I feel like, would just spend 15 years in there, like trying to break out.
Trace has seen too many movies to be like, all right, they're not going to let me out. I have to break out, and I need to get really good at martial arts.
And I need the 15.
I must train.
How long does it take to become a master?
15 years,
I
obviously.
don't know about that.
No, less than that. It took him a while before he started learning.
Yeah, he didn't start practicing until 10 years in. But even then, it's ridiculous to think that he learned any actual fighting skill just punching a wall and watching TV.
It can take 3 to 10 years to earn a black belt. It can take
Which black
decades
belt
to
is
master
not
a martial arts, though.
mastery.
It can take 20
Yeah,
years or
black
more
belt-
to reach master level in Taekwondo, or 30 years in Grandmaster.
From my understanding, it takes like a black belt is just like
It's not that hard.
black belt is like
It's intimidating.
you've mastered the basics.
Yeah.
Like you're not a complete fuck up anymore.
But like, I feel like if you're like, if you're pretty good, you're better than just like a random dude with like your fists, you know?
I feel like they should
I mean, he
have.
wasn't fighting other masters.
Right.
He was just fighting
Now-
random dudes.
Here's the thing. I feel like if Trace did punch a wall for 10 years and watch TV, he would master martial arts, but he wouldn't master fucking.
Well, no.
That's why he.
What am I gonna fuck in there? The mattress.
See, that's why he didn't.
No.
He never nutted for 15 years. He
That's
was
why
saving
he's
it for his special daughter.
That's where all the protein secretes back into his body.
And that's why he got that's why
not
semen
gonna fuck my
retention is so
daughter.
important.
Can we stop talking about semen?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so what did you guys overall think of the movie? I feel like it's time to give our scores.
It wasn't awful, but like I feel like they made a weird point of him trying to master martial arts, and they didn't really show him doing a whole lot of martial arts. It's just him like whacking people with a hammer.
They did like it felt like the more serious like Jackie Chan where you use your environment kind of thing
Yeah.
versus like, kind of, well, like Chinese, like martial arts movies,
Yeah.
like Karate Kid, they're like they do the whole like,
Reference the thing we've watched for the podcast, so people will go and watch that episode.
The
wait, what have we watched?
Drunken Master.
Oh yeah, well that's not even
Hoodwinked.
karate.
That's not even Jackie Chan.
Hoodwinked. She actually did. She did a lot of martial arts in that. Granny
She
was
did.
a master.
She did.
And you better.
I'm just, you know what I'm saying.
Here, real
Here
quick,
it
just a
is.
reminder, John Lovitz punched Andy Dick in the mouth because he was making fun of Phil Hartman, who had just passed.
Who's any of those people? Was any of them the rabbit?
Andy Dick voiced the rabbit Boingo. John Lovitz was
The frog?
no, he's in like a lot of Adam Sandler movies.
Okay.
Like, have you seen The Wedding Singer?
I told you no.
Anyway, so overall, this movie, I get honest. I feel kind of bad because we wasted this whole episode. Like,
Did we?
not to keep harping
Well,
on
we
like
should
Trace
probably-
is Daisu
yeah.
basically, but
We
But he is.
We should scrap the episode.
he is. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about with this movie. I feel that we didn't get to because
Like what?
there's just so much, and we have such a short amount of time.
We don't. We should go longer.
And I'll tell you, it stuck with me. Not a moment goes by where I'm not like, I can't believe Daisu fucked his daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, we have
Yeah.
to trim this down a bit. We could still talk for a bit if you want. If there's something you really want
See,
to talk about, champ.
for me, it's like I said earlier, and I'll say it again one more time.
Oh yeah,
The overarching story isn't too crazy. It's a revenge story of kidnapping, but the plot points in between of you don't know why he's kidnapped. The viewer doesn't even know why he's kidnapped. Person doesn't even know why he's kidnapped. He's there for 15 years. It's a solitary confinement deal for 15 years. He does learn the karate, kung fu, or whatever, martial arts, and then he's on a slow journey of trying to learn why he was locked in with the help of the person who did it. It's not even like a reluctant, like he's like, I'm helping you try to do this just so I can have this ultimate despair fall over you, you know?
Going too slow. I'm gonna give you some hints. I don't got forever.
now I would just like to hop in here and be like, and just say that we've talked a lot about incest and other bad
It's the
things.
most prominent part of the movie.
And I'm just worried that maybe some of you have begun to think less of me, but I would just like to address the elephant in the room. Like, I know technically this was my pick, like if you look at the roster, but I just want the listeners to know that Marshall has a sway over us.
No,
Mar-
this one.
like-
Not this one.
I feel it, like he's been
it was-
a lot leading up to this episode.
No.
There was a lot of talking about it that I feel like Marshall didn't want to take credit for some reason. There was a lot.
Hey, if this gets a good score, I'll take credit. If not,
this
it's
is like one of those like hoodwinked for me. Like I didn't really choose.
I'm gonna let you know now,
Marshall
Joe.
was
Before you keep
You
going,
should take this.
I'm gonna rate it pretty good. So
That's kind of crazy.
What's
your rating, Joe? What's your rating?
All right. Just get it out there. There are pacing issues. Like the middle does drag a little bit, but the ending is just so nuts. I think I landed on a 7.
That's good. I was also gonna give it like a 6, 9, 8, 8, 8, 9, 8, 9. That's somewhere where I'm feeling. It's not quite a 7, but it's still up there. Trace, what are you feeling, boss?
It's really hard to tell, you know.
It was a hard one to score for me because there is a lot of it.
Like there's some good parts and there's some
I don't hate it, but I don't really like
But you
it.
don't?
I think I'm gonna just get a good middle. I'm gonna go 5. It's a nice middle of the road. Like
53 is not right.
53 would not be right. I don't like it that much.
Crazy. Well, that leaves the average at a 6.3. Well,
Marsh.
No.
That's not
we've gotten-
super bad. Next week we are not watching Super Bad. We are watching Star Trek, the newer-ish ones with Chris Pine and everyone. Zach Quinto.
Chris Hemsworth.
Super bad.
Oh, Zach Quinto. He also had some like issues where he's kind of like a dick to like people.
Yeah, he went to a restaurant and was like, "Don't you know who the fuck I am?"
Was that? I think that was in Texas.
And he's like, "Yeah, aren't she from that shitty Star Trek movie?" And he's like,
"Oh, don't even say shitty.
And then he started like doing.
Don't even say
shitty doctor show.
Have you guys seen this Star Trek movie before?
Yes, of course I've seen this.
Yeah. Okay.
I owned all of them for a while, and then a friend of mine said,
"Oh
hey,
shit!" I didn't go into my whole. I didn't go into my whole thesis talk. There's boobs in this movie, but it feels.
Oh, thank God we didn't talk about boobs.
It's itchy.
I know. Real quick. Yeah, there's boobs in this movie, but it's icky. I don't get. Yeah, so it doesn't give me the horn so much.
I don't want to see anybody's daughter's boobs.
Anyway, Marshall secretly picked this movie, and Trace's Daisu.
Nope.
Yeah, Trace's Daisu. We're watching Star Trek next week. It's gonna be sick. We'll even get to see like Trace's other personality as Bach. You know, slightly on the spectrum.
I don't think he's slightly anything.
Well, he's less slightly than everyone else.
He's half
That's
human,
a Vulcan.
and that half of him is fully on the spectrum.
He's half Vulcan, and he's also a half Keebler elf.
Okay, really quick, I need to touch on this for my own sanity. As a kid, I watched a different Star Trek movie. It was Star Trek First Contact. It's a Captain Picard Next Generation one. That scared me so much I had to go like sleep in the room with my parents as like a 10-year-old.
That's hilarious. I can't wait for it to be the shittiest looking.
If you want to hear more about that topic, go ahead and go watch.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah,
we've already talked about it though. You can't talk about it again.
Hold on, I gotta get this out of the way. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube.
Where are they gonna follow us?
TikTok might be banned by the time this episode comes out.
We don't post on TikTok anymore.
So it should be there.
I'm glad I didn't fucking bother learning the algorithm on that shit.
So it's probably gone.
What do you mean?
Our social media manager will start posting eventually.
You just post. The algorithm works for you.
I didn't learn anything.
That's fine. You don't need to learn anything. It's TikTok.
Comment below if you think our social media manager, which is Jobe, is bad at his job. We'll see you next week. Have a good time, everybody.
Yeah, maybe.